and hello, and welcome back to the Hound of Norfolk Mysteries. Last week I told you about how Sunset Shimmer is a clone, and now I'm going to tell you what she's really planning. Remember what Discord said about the seeds he planted, how they should have sprouted up ages ago? I mean, why didn't the Tree of Harmony die months after Twilight came to Ponyville? Why is it that the Tree of Harmony just so happened to die when Twilight became an Alicorn princess? Therefore, the Tree of Harmony wasn't dying of natural causes. It was poisoned by Sunset Shimmer. I think Sunset Shimmer knew that the elements of harmony brought Twilight and her friends together, so Sunset Shimmer poisoned the Tree of Harmony. She could separate Twilight and her friends. As you can see, elements of harmony plus 6 ponies that represent them equals victory. So once Sunset Shimmer poisoned the Tree of Harmony, Twilight and her friends would have no choice but to give up the elements of harmony. Plus, I think in the episode Castlemania, yeah? I think that Sunset Shimmer must have kept a very close eye on Twilight and her friends after Sunset Shimmer poisoned the Tree of Harmony, to see if Twilight and her friends would separate or not. Sunset Shimmer thought she could try and use their strengths and weaknesses against them again, because without the elements of harmony, there'd be nothing to keep the main 6 together. But it's not only Sunset Shimmer trying to get revenge. There are others. I think the Flim Flam brothers are trying to get their revenge on Applejack for ruining their cider-making business. I think and I bet you more than anything, they were the ones responsible for the bats getting into Sweet Apple Acres. As you can see, Flim Flam brothers plus vampire fruit bats equals the destruction of Sweet Apple Acres. When the Flim Flam brothers were close to destroying Sweet Apple Acres, they must have met Sunset Shimmer and retreated to a villainous lair where Sunset Shimmer made a deal with the Flim Flam brothers. If the Flim Flam brothers help Sunset Shimmer get rid of Twilight and her friends, including Applejack, she gets rid of the Apple family and gives Sweet Apple Acres to them. While the Flim and Flam's plan for revenge was brilliant, Sunset Shimmer's plan was okay, so maybe the Flim Flam brothers went with Sunset Shimmer's plan. But in episode Leap of Faith, the Flim Flam brothers made a very good contribution. Also in the episode Some Pony Watch Over Me, what if the Flim Flam brothers used the same way Apple Bloom used to sneak out? I wonder if they snuck, and I bet you more than anything, they snuck into the house and made copies of the journal. Twilight and her friends started thanks to that silly little filly who wanted to prove herself to Applejack. Plus, remember in the episode 3 is a crowd, Discord pretended to be sick? I wonder if Sunset Shimmer told him to do it so she could steal something from the star-swirled bearded traveling museum without getting seen by Twilight or Kane. Also, the way Discord was going around in Twilight's roar, it looked like he was looking for something, but what? And I'm not sure what Sunset Shimmer was trying to steal, but I think it could be important to her. Plus, don't you think it's weird that Tyr didn't crush Twilight and her friends when he had the chance? I mean, he had all the magic in Equestria. Why didn't he just crush Twilight and her friend? I think I know why. The Tree of Harmony chest. Sunset Shimmer must have known that if Twilight and her friends had opened the chest of harmony, there would be no magic left, and then there would be no pony to stop Sunset Shimmer when she took over Equestria. Plus, in Rainbow Rocks, do you think it's weird Sunset Shimmer in the human world the only one to give the tour through the school to the sirens? I mean, why didn't anyone else volunteer? I think the real Sunset Shimmer. I think the real Sunset Shimmer must have left clues for the sirens, probably to lose the match to Twilight and her friends. I theorize that after the sirens were defeated, the real Sunset Shimmer must have sent some goods like Discord or crystals. Someone would have no difficulty adjusting to the human world or human body, to give them new gems and offer them a one-way trip home in revenge on Twilight and her friends. Therefore, I think Sunset Shimmer's new revenge plan is going to involve the sirens. I'm not 100% sure what her plan is going to be. I just hope I'm right on this theory. I also think Starlight Glimmer is Sunset Shimmer's new pawn in Sunset Shimmer's little game. Because in the episode Amending Fences, it looked like Starlight Glimmer was spying on Twilight in secret, trying to find a weakness about her. Well, she was also spying on them in the episode What About Discord? Remember what she said right before she left her little town? How she created harmony? I theorize after Starlight Glimmer left her village, she must have thought to herself, I give them real friendships that nobody else could give them, and this is how they repay me? I also think that Sunset Shimmer must have overheard Starlight Glimmer's whining, and Sunset Shimmer must have gone and made a deal with Starlight. If Starlight helped Sunset Shimmer get revenge on Twilight and her friends, then Sunset Shimmer races the villagers in Starlight's town, and of the whole incident, things go back to the way they were, like it never happened. Here's proof that I might be right. Because look, I believe I'm right on. I believe that I'm right on these theories because in the episode Cutie Remark, where Starlight Glimmer changes the past, there was a lot of timelines in which the main six villains weren't defeated. Now tell me, in any of these alternate futures, why didn't Sunset Shimmer come back and team up with another villain? Or just see Equestria in a timeline in which Sunset Shimmer or the Sirens weren't defeated? Which proves that Sunset Shimmer and the Sirens weren't defeated, and they're still at large and in Equestria plotting their next revenge move. Plus, I think somehow, and I don't know how, but I think that while Spike and Twilight were busy doing their speech in Camelot and dealing with Starlight in the past, Sunset Shimmer went back in time to when she was Celestia's student and gave her past self instructions on what will go on and maybe happen. That's how Sunset Shimmer came to know these things, because her future self told her about it. I mean, the cutie remark, Starlight Glimmer, was levitating the time spell. That proves Sunset Shimmer must have used it already. I also think that Sassy Saddles may be Green Chrysalis's daughter in disguise. I mean, how come we never see her cutie mark? Or how her saddlebag never showed what her cute mark even looked like? If any of you are asking the question, how come her horn glows yellow and not green? I think it's like an RIPD kind of thing, Rest in Peace Department. Or like where Kevin Bacon's character, Bobby Hayes, wore a magical amulet called St. Christopher's Medal that kept him hidden from the RIPD officers, with him being a deado in oil. Maybe Sassy Saddles is wearing that something similar to St. Christopher's Medal. I think it may be her saddle or the sequences on her dress to hide from the Camelot Royal Guards. Celestia, Luna, Twilight, hate her friends, means shiny armor and gauntlets. It must work like a magical perfume slash IV bag. But there are other characteristics of the changelings, like maybe they hate sweet foods. Like when Chrysalis threw away Applejack's desserts after she ate after eating them, or how she said she won't have any cake if Sassy Saddles eats something like sweet like a piece of cake, or she makes a gag face, or if she removes her dress or her saddle, her horn will glow green instead of yellow and turn back into a changeling. Then we can tell if she's a changeling or not. I also think that Sunset Shimmer is also using Starlight Glimmer's old friend Sunburst as a bargaining chip to make sure Starlight Glimmer goes along with Sunset Shimmer's plan. Maybe Sunburst's life hangs in the balance, but maybe Sunset Shimmer might have already planned ahead for that situation. So maybe she sent Queen Chrysalis' daughter, Sassy Saddles, I don't know her real name, in disguise to trick Twilight and her friends. That's why Sunburst was wearing that cloak, because Sassy Saddles was wearing the same saddle that made a changeling look and seem like a normal pony, and she didn't want anyone to recognize it. So that's why Sunburst was wearing the cloak. It wasn't so no one would recognize the saddle. I mean, why else would Sunburst be wearing that cloak? It wasn't like he was cold or anything. The Crystal Empire's crystal heart produces heat, so that's one reason, and why he wouldn't be wearing the cloak. And if he's not a wizard, then he couldn't be wearing the cloak. It was so no one would recognize it. There's lots of evidence that proves that Sassy Saddles has been secretly impersonating Sunburst. For starters, in part 1 of Way and Back Again, Thorax says that Shiny Armor, Cadence, and Flutterheart were taken by the Changelings, but not Sunburst. Highly suspicious. Also in the episode Forever Friendly, Sassy Saddles has a ton of work piled up. Even more suspicious. Also in the movie and the beginning of season 9, Sunburst is nowhere to be seen. Also, Sassy Saddles is the only one to appear. That proves that Sunburst is a bargaining chip for the enemy. So I think Sunset Shimmer may be using Starlight Glimmer as a spy in order to get at all the secrets on Twilight and her friends. So Sunset Shimmer can go and use all of the secrets against them, because in season 6, Starlight Glimmer only made 9 appearances. Sorry, 8 appearances on the show, not to 9 appearances on the show, which means she's a spy for Sunset Shimmer, no doubt trying to uncover hidden secrets. She also states in the episode every little thing she does. Starlight Glimmer states, and I quote, "Yes, baking cakes, sewing, all of it. What if I was bad at it? I didn't want to be a disappointment to anybody and end up disappointing everyone." She also... I can tell she was lying. Look in the upper right-hand side. It almost looks like she was hiding something. And look at the top left. She doesn't look nervous at all. She looks very happy. That proves she's a spy. I mean, Sunset Shimmer probably already has dirt on Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Spike, and Rainbow Dash, so that only leaves Fluttershy, Applejack, and Twilight. I've seen this thing happen before. The villains take the things or the people you love and use it against you, like how Kingpin kidnapped Hammer's wife, or Hammerhead kidnapped Silvermane's daughter Lisa, so that Kingpin can get his wife back and Silvermane can end the town. Bit of time. Other times they discover a hidden secret they don't want anyone to know about, and they also use that against you. Like in Captain America Civil War, how Zemo used Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, to get the Avengers to fight each other by showing Tony aka Iron Man, footage of Bucky killing Tony's parents. Maybe that's what Sunset Shimmer is planning to do. Ooh, I need to go and use. She's going to use the secrets against them and have Twilight and her friends fight each other. In the words of Bouncy Mo, an empire toppled by its enemies can rise again, but one that comes from within, that's dead forever. I also think Sven is also one of Sunset Shimmer's pawns as well. I mean, his life was ruined by Applejack and was fired, so I guess he must have vowed to get revenge on Applejack, even if it was the last thing he does. So I guess after he was fired from his job, he must have met Sunset Shimmer and must have made a deal with him. If he offered to get rid of Twilight and Sparkle and her friends, including Applejack, Sunset Shimmer will go and make the Sirens his new clients and get rid of Rah-Rah for him. I also believe Dr. Caballon and Risotto are Sunset Shimmer's pawns as well. I mean, they both despise Daring Do and both want to rule Equestria, so they probably went and made it and teamed up with Sunset Shimmer for the uprising Equestria. And if they help get rid of Twilight Sparkle and friends, including Rainbow Dash, Sunset Shimmer will go and get rid of Daring Do for them. Here's proof Caballon is working for Sunset Shimmer. In Stranger Than Fiction, Dr. Caballon was after an artifact called the Close-Up Seven-Sided Chest of Chumuk. I have no idea how you pronounce that. However, they never specified what it does or how it works, and what it could be used for. Also, in the episode Daring Done, Dr. Caballon was stealing globe passes from the ponies in the desert village of Somnambula. Also, he went into the pyramid of the Sphinx. Why didn't he steal some treasure from there? I mean, stealing globe passes, it's like stealing crucifixes. I mean, unless the globe passes were just a distraction and Dr. Caballon was stealing something important for Sunset Shimmer. I also think that Wind Rider and Lightning Dust could be Sunset Shimmer's pawns as well. I mean, they were both thrown out of the Wonder Bolts by Rainbow Dash, so after they were thrown out of the Wonder, they must have vowed vengeance on Rainbow Dash. They also must have met Sunset Shimmer and made a deal with her. If they offer to help Sunset Shimmer get rid of Twilight and her friends, including Rainbow Dash, then Sunset Shimmer will make Lightning Dust a Wonderbolt and reinstate Wind Rider into the Wonder Coats and have Soren and Spitfire stripped from their ranks, downgraded to meaningless day jobs, and never call themselves Wonderbolts ever again. I figured it was Sunset Shimmer all along, because when I saw the patterns that occurred on the show, I knew it had to be someone who knew everything about Celestia and Luna and the villains they defeated over the years. Someone who knew everything about magic. Oops. Someone who knew everything about Counterlot and its secret passageways, and the Crystal Empire. Someone who would be bold enough to fraternize with other villains. Most importantly, it had to be someone with a grudge against Twilight and her friends, and salute us from the start. And all clues point to Sunset Shimmer. I mean, how else do you explain everything that happened to Twilight and her friends? I can definitely tell you right now which Sunset Shimmer is the clone or the real one, but I do know this. The clones in Star Wars The Clone Wars are not exact copies of Jango Fett. For starters, their names, personalities, and appearances are different from one another. Same with the Proud family and their clones. They weren't exact copies of the Proud family. For starters, their personalities were different, which means Sunset Shimmer and her clone must be complete opposites. At first I thought Sunset Shimmer might have had an extra 2 or below reflective circle, with a number that would have shown how many times she had been cloned, but I looked at the bottom of her feet and there were no blue reflective circle on, or an extra toe on her right or left foot. She has 5 normal toes on both feet, but maybe there are the characteristics of a clone. Like at first I thought Sunset Shimmer must not have a belly button, nor the blue reflective circle. It's probably under her upper or lower lip. Or kind of like in The Sixth Day. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character had a dot on on the bottom half of their eyelids that showed how many times they were cloned. And I was wrong. She does have a belly button. There may be more evidence that shows she might be a clone. I theorize is that there might be someone else helping Sunset Shimmer with her evil plan, and I think someone figured that out. Son of Princess Luna. Remember what Applejack said in the episode Castlemania? There being a part of Nightmare Moon being left behind? What if Luna and Sombra had a child? Their firstborn child. Nightmare Moon transferred her powers into her son. I also think that somehow, and I don't know how, but I think Sunset Shimmer may have found a way to not only bring back Nightmare Moon, but also turn Celestia into Daybreaker. So the revival of Nightmare Moon and the rise of Daybreaker are close at hand, and all of Equestria is doomed. Plus, I think Twilight and friends should have kept spies on Celestia and Celestia and Luna to make sure that they were kept in check. Because doesn't her friends realize that the more Celestia and Luna fight and argue with each other, the stronger Nightmare Moon and Daybreaker get? I also theorize that Pharynx, Thorax's brother, is a spy working for Chrysalis. Think about it. He was the last changeling to wrench the new life. He also was alone with the mole, who was about to attack the hive. So how do you know that wasn't Chrysalis in disguise in order for Pharynx to gain the other changelings' trust? What about some of the other changelings? How do we know that they're not working for Chrysalis too? I believe that Pharynx and some of the other changelings are working for Chrysalis, and they might have some form of disguise to help hide their true form from Thorax and the other changelings that are loyal to Thorax. And I can only say this: when push comes to shove, Pharynx is going to show us what's truly inside his heart, because he loves a hive, but I bet his loyalty is to his queen. I believe it's like a Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where Zola told Captain America and Black Widow that when World War II was over, S.H.I.E.L.D. recruited former German and Swiss scientists, one of which was Zola himself. I believe that Queen Chrysalis is plotting having her new empire be built in Thorax's empire, just like Hydra did. These kind of things happened before. Heroes are often been either betrayed and murdered by their own brother, like how Scar from The Lion King betrayed and murdered his own brother Mufasa, or also how Edward from El Enchanted admitted to killing Charles' father, Edward's brother, and tried to kill Char as well. Not to mention, in Prince of Persia, Dastan's uncle, Nizam, betrayed and murdered his own brother, Shahram, which, thanks to the Dagger of Time, reset the events of the movie and was prevented at the last minute. Flick from Star Wars The Clone Wars was betraying Captain Rex and Commander Cody. Hector and Miguel were betrayed by Ernesto from Coco. Prince Caspian nearly being murdered and betrayed by his own uncle Mirez, like his father was in the early events of the movie Narnia Chronicles. Prin- Prince Caspian and Thor being betrayed and nearly murdered by his own adoptive brother Loki. Oh, and my personal favorite, Zeus being betrayed and nearly killed by his own brother Hades. In the words of Agur himself, why not? I killed my own brother. And those were his words, not mine. I also think that Chrysalis has more than one child, if not many children. I think Oculus is secretly Queen Chrysalis' daughter, because in the episode What Lies Beneath, when the other changelings refer to her as Your Majesty, which can only be given by noble blood. A name that can only be given by noble blood, which means she must be of royal blood, and I bet you more than anything her worst fear is being compared to her mother. Also, the other changelings aren't her real parents. They could be adoptive parents or foster parents. There is a possibility that she could be a sleeper agent and could only be activated when she hears a certain phrase or word. Kind of like a split personality. I also theorize that Gallus is a mercenary for hire. Like in the Housewarming Club, he seems quick, fast, and light on his feet and seemed to be an expert liar. He also seemed like he might have well, might be someone who has done time in jail because of his claustrophobia, and he says he doesn't have a family in Griffinstone, which means that he must have ran away from home or must have been disowned by his own family, and the only job he could possibly get is doing someone's dirty work. If I know mercenaries that they work for whoever or whatever pays them the most. Here's an expression of mercenaries. They typically are people who work for or whatever pays them for most. Guns for hire, mercenaries, the enforcers from Jackie Chan, John Cannon's character from Eraser, Simon Gruber, Peter Wheatley. Some of them are just the worst of the worst. I also theorize that Sunset Shimmer tricked Twilight and her friends into bringing Starswirl and the rest of the pillars back because they know the location of a weapon that only the sirens themselves can use. Also, I think that Stygian had a piece of the weapon on him while the pillars hid their pieces in hope that no one will find them and rebuild it at all. However, I think Luna and Sombra's son found a way to trick Rockhoof, Mistmane, and Starswell into coming over to their side. I think he tricked Rockhoof into thinking he'll go back to his world. Mistmane gets her youth back, and Starswell, I don't know what he's going to want, but whatever it is, I bet only Luna and Sombra's son can do it. And I bet they're going to use the other pillar's memories to find the piece of the weapon and rebuild it. And when it's finally finished, Trixie and Starlight are going to die along with half of Equestria. Again, I'm not 100% sure what Sunset Shimmer is planning, but I bet it's going to be big. Also, this mystery is so simple, a child could figure it out. I can't believe Twilight made Sparkle an offense, and I figured it all out. All the stuff that's happened to them. I'm sure that the great Sherlock Holmes or the great Adrian Monk would have it figured out in less than a day. It's like me teaching a bear to save gold to save the queen. In the words of Sherlock Holmes, it's elementary, my dear Watson.